Hello everyone. Today we are going to dive into a book that might just change the trajectory of your life. It's titled The Almanack of Naval Ravikant, compiled by Eric Jorgenson. If you spend any time in the tech world or on Twitter, you have probably heard the name Naval. He is often called the angel philosopher. On one hand, he is a legendary investor who put money into companies like Uber, Twitter, and Notion long before they were household names. He knows how to make money. But unlike most billionaires who are obsessed with grinding until they die, Naval is obsessed with something else: peace, happiness, freedom. This book is not a traditional book. Naval didn't sit down and write it chapter by chapter. Instead, it is a curated collection of his tweets, podcasts, and interviews over the last decade. It reads like a Bible of modern wisdom. It is dense, it is direct, and it cuts through the noise. The promise of this book is simple but profound. Wealth and happiness are not things that happen by accident. They are not traits you're born with. They are skills. And like any skill, they can be learned. So, let's start where the book starts. Wealth. When most people hear the word wealth, they think of status games. They think of luxury cars, expensive watches, and showing off. Naval asks us to throw that definition in the trash. He distinguishes between money and wealth. Money is just how we transfer time and wealth. Status is your place in the social hierarchy. But wealth is having assets that earn while you sleep. Wealth is the factory, the robot, the computer code, the investment portfolio. Wealth is the machine that buys you your freedom. The goal isn't to be rich so you can buy a Ferrari. The goal is to be wealthy so you can wake up in the morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. Now, how do you get there? Naval has a famous tweet storm called How to Get Rich Without Getting Lucky. Note the part in parentheses, without getting lucky. If you rely on luck, you cannot replicate your success. Naval argues that if he lost all his money today and you dropped him in a random English-speaking country, within 5 to 10 years, he would be wealthy again. Because he knows the algorithm, and the core of that algorithm is a concept he calls productizing yourself. This sounds like a buzzword, but let's break it down. It has two parts: yourself and productize. Let's start with yourself. This brings us to the most important concept in the first half of the book. Specific knowledge. You cannot get rich renting out your time. If you're paid a salary, even a high salary, you're selling your hours. The problem is, your time is limited. You can't scale. To get wealthy, you need to offer society something that it wants, but doesn't yet know how to get. And crucially, it has to be something that only you can provide. This is specific knowledge. Specific knowledge is the stuff that feels like play to you, but looks like work to others. Think back to your childhood. What were you doing effortlessly? Were you organizing games? Were you coding? Were you writing stories? Were you negotiating? Specific knowledge is found at the intersection of your natural curiosity and your genuine interests. Naval says no one can compete with you on being you. If you're trying to be the best real estate agent in New York, you're competing with thousands of people. But if you are combining your love for real estate with your background in psychology and your obsession with drone photography, suddenly you are in a niche of one. You have escaped competition through authenticity. When you're doing what you are naturally good at, you don't watch the clock. You learn faster than everyone else because you're genuinely interested. You're not working hard in the traditional sense. You are just playing. But to the outside world, it looks like you are outworking everyone. So, step one is to figure out who you are. What is that thing you do that is unique to you? But finding your specific knowledge isn't enough. If you are the best knitter in the world, but you only knit one sweater a month, you have a hobby, not a business. This brings us to the second half of the equation: productize. To productize means to apply leverage. Leverage is what allows you to disconnect your inputs from your outputs. It is what allows you to work once and get paid 1,000 times. In the old world, if you wanted to build a fortress, you needed thousands of people to carry stones. That is one form of leverage. Labor. It is the oldest form. It's people working for you. It's impressed upon us by society. I want to be a boss. I want to have 100 employees, but Naval argues this is actually the worst kind of leverage. It is messy. Managing people is difficult. It requires immense emotional intelligence and patience. Then there is the second form of leverage, capital money. This was the dominant leverage of the 20th century. If you have $1 million, you can build a factory, you can invest, but capital is gate kept. You need someone to give it to you, or you need to save it up for decades. It's hard to get. But we are living in a unique time in history. We have access to a new kind of leverage. Naval calls this permissionless leverage. This is the leverage of the digital age, and it comes in two forms: code and media. Think about it. If you write a piece of software, that code works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't get tired, it doesn't complain, it doesn't ask for a raise. You write it once, and millions of people can use it. That is infinite leverage. But you might say, I don't know how to code. That's okay. Because the other form is media. This podcast you're listening to right now, this is leverage. I'm recording this once, but whether one person listens to it or 100,000 people listen to it, the effort I put in is exactly the same. Books, blogs, YouTube videos, audiobooks. This is content that scales. It is an army of robots working for you while you sleep. And the best part, you don't need anyone's permission to use it. You don't need a bank to give you a loan. You don't need a boss to hire you. You just need a laptop and an internet connection. So the formula for wealth looks something like this. Apply your specific knowledge with accountability using leverage. We talked about specific knowledge and leverage. But what about accountability? Accountability is the thing that makes you scary to some people, but valuable to the market. It means putting your name on the line. It means taking risk. Why does the captain of the ship get paid more than the sailor? The sailor physically works harder. He is scrubbing the decks, pulling the ropes. But if the ship sinks, the captain goes down with it. The captain takes the risk. In modern society, we are trained to avoid blame. We hide behind committees. We say we decided, not I decided. But if you want to get wealthy, you have to do the opposite. You have to stand up and say, I will take responsibility for this. When you take accountability, you get equity. You get a share of the upside. If you're just a cog in the machine, you get a salary. If you own a decision, you get a piece of the result. So putting it all together, you find the thing that feels like play to you, specific knowledge, you take responsibility for the outcome under your own name, accountability, and then you use code or media to scale that solution to the entire world, leverage. But there's a trap here. Many people think that once they have the leverage, they just need to work 80 hours a week to succeed. They think hustle is the answer. Naval disagrees. He believes that in the age of leverage, hard work is vastly overrated. It is overrated because in a world of leverage, direction matters more than speed. If you're running in the wrong direction, it doesn't matter how fast you run or how hard you work. You're just getting further away from your goal in the age of code and media. So decision can be multiplied by millions. If you make the wrong decision, you lose everything. If you make the wrong decision, you lose everything. If you make the right decision, you win everything. This brings us to the most undervalued skill in the modern economy, judgment. Naval says, I want to be paid for my judgment, not my time. Think about a pilot flying a plane. They are not paid for physically wrestling with the controls for 10 hours. They are paid for the few seconds where they have to make a critical decision during a storm. One right turn saves everyone, one wrong turn ends it all. That is judgment. So how do you build judgment? You build it by taking accountability for your mistakes. You build it by being honest with yourself. And you build it by ignoring the news and studying history. The news tells you what is happening the second. History tells you how the world actually works. So the summary of Naval's wealth philosophy is this: productize yourself. Choose a career where the inputs and outputs are disconnected. Play long-term games with long-term people, and above all, value your freedom above your status. But here's the twist. Let's say you do all of this. You build the leverage, you make the money, you're wealthy, you wake up one day and you never have to work again. Now what? You will quickly discover a terrifying truth. Money solves your money problems, but it does not solve your life problems. In fact, getting rich often exposes how unhappy you truly are. Before, you could blame your misery on being broke. If only I had money, I would be happy. Once you have the money, that excuse is gone. You are left alone with your mind. This brings us to the second and perhaps more important half of the book, happiness. Most people think happiness is something you get. You get the car, you get the girl, you get the promotion, and then you are happy. Naval argues that happiness is not a reward, it is a skill. just like nutrition is a skill, just like investing is a skill. Happiness is a skill you practice, but first we have to define it. What is happiness? Naval's definition is unique. He says happiness is the state when nothing is missing. When nothing is missing, your mind shuts up. Your brain stops running into the past to regret something, and it stops running into the future to worry about something. When the internal chatter stops, you are in the present moment, and in that silence you find peace. We often confuse happiness with excitement. We chase dopamine, we go to parties, we buy new things. We chase thrills, but excitement is not happiness. Excitement is just expensive pain. Every high has a low. The gap between the high and the low is the suffering. True happiness is peace. It is a calm mind. It is a default state. If you watch a baby, they are happy. They go from crying to laughing in seconds. They don't hold grudges. They don't worry about their 401k. Happiness is our factory setting. But as we grow up, we cover it with layers of conditioning, judgment, and desire. And desire is the biggest enemy of them all. This is the most famous quote from the book. And if you remember only one thing from today, let it be this. Desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Think about that. Every time you say, I want that job or I want that house, you are subconsciously telling yourself, I am not enough right now. I will only be happy later. We go through life waiting for the thing to happen. I'll be happy when I graduate. I'll be happy when I get married. I'll be happy when I retire. We are constantly deferring our life. We are living in a future that doesn't exist, ignoring the present that does. Naval isn't saying you shouldn't have desires. You need desires to build things. But he suggests that we have too many. We want to be fit and rich and relaxed and famous and well-traveled. All at the same time, when you have 10 desires, your energy is scattered. You are miserable in 10 different directions. The secret is to pick one big desire. I want to build this business. Okay, fine. Accept the suffering that comes with that one desire. But for everything else, let it go. Your coffee was cold. Let it go. Traffic is bad. Let it go. Someone was rude to you on the internet. Let it go. Don't sign those contracts. Don't agree to be unhappy over small things. But how do we actually do this? How do we retrain a brain that is addicted to anxiety and desire? How do we find that silence? Naval offers a series of practical habits, not just spiritual theories, but actual daily practices to reclaim your mental freedom. And that is what we are going to explore in the final part. The most important habit, and the one Naval returns to constantly, is meditation. But he doesn't mean using an app or listening to guided audio. He talks about doing nothing. Naval suggests sitting down for 1 hour every morning, closing your eyes and surrendering. No chanting, no focus on breath. No effort to just sit. Here's what happens. Your brain will go crazy. It will throw thoughts at you. I need to send that email. I should have said this. I'm angry at that person. Naval compares this to an email inbox. Every unread email is an unresolved thought or emotion you push down. When you sit in silence, those emails start opening themselves. It is painful, it is loud, but if you sit there long enough, usually about 60 days of doing this, you eventually hit inbox zero, you resolve the thoughts, you process the regrets, and suddenly there is silence. That silence is where happiness lives. That silence is a superpower, because when your mind is silent, you stop reacting to the world and you start acting within it. Beyond meditation, Naval emphasizes the physical foundation of the mind. You cannot be mentally happy if you're physically miserable. He treats exercise not as a chore, but as a non-negotiable meeting with himself. His rule is simple. A hard workout makes the day easy. When you stress your body physically, your brain releases endorphins. The world feels softer. If you don't work out, your body creates its own stress to burn off that energy, which manifests as anxiety. And then there is the ultimate meta skill that ties wealth and happiness together: reading. Naval is perhaps the world's most famous advocate for reading, but his approach is different. He doesn't show off how many books he reads. He doesn't finish books he doesn't like. His advice is, read what you love until you love to read.